How we doing? No, not the outro. Wow, that was a whole lot of mess. Anyways, guys, what's going on? This is Unruly. I'm bringing you guys my review. Sorry for that sloppy intro, but my review on Ahsoka, and I was talking a little bit about it during video games, and there was a lot of people that understood what I was saying, and a lot of people were like, yeah, you're wrong and you're wrong. So I wanted to do my own kind of review. I've watched it, I've seen the ending, and my biggest thing about the show is it does not stand on its own. And what do I mean by that? It means like, well, Kenny, to really enjoy the show, you have to watch all this other stuff. And to be honest, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Look at this, man. Sheesh. Just right here, 2 different lightsabers, bro. You know, 2 lightsabers. I have a 3rd. But anyways, but the thing is, like, I don't watch everything. I tried to watch the Clone Wars, and I tried it, and I was like, woof. It had so much filler, and it was just kind of boring. I would watch it at the end of the day at work and literally start falling asleep because I was waiting for, like, you know, of course, Star Wars, like, you know, and that's probably a little bit of, no, because like I said, like, I like Andor, right? And a lot of people are like, oh, Andor's boring, right? Andor, yeah, like, Andor's a Star Wars show with not a single lightsaber, and it's some of my favorite Star Wars, right? But I don't know what it was about, and people probably get angry at me. I don't know what it was about. Clone Wars was just very boring to me. And there's even a thing where, like, oh no, here's what you do. You watch these 15 or 20 episodes of Clone Wars, and then that's good. And I'm like, so they Dragon Ball Z abridged it, right? Where they gotta, like, do certain things. But so like my thing is, it just doesn't stand on its own. Like, when they talk about, like, Ezra and they talk about Thrawn, right? I don't know who these characters are. I mean, I know who Thrawn is. I would always kind of like learn about the books, and, you know, I always learned about him, and he was this cool tactician, and he was one of the only non-humanoid people allowed to have power in the Empire, right? Because, yeah, but I don't know. It just doesn't do a good job. Like, oh my god, we have to find Ezra and Ezra. I'm like, who's Ezra? Why should I care about Ezra? Oh, if I had watched Rebels, I would know who Ezra is. And I'm like, dang, man, it would be great, because, yeah. So literally, like, this show made me feel like I knew nothing about Star Wars. And I don't mean that in a good way. Like, oh my god, it turns everything. It's just like, yeah, it's like, I don't know about Ezra. I know about Thrawn. I mean, I know how he's this masterful tactician who will study a planet's art and weird stuff like that. But I don't really know. Like, it doesn't do a good job of saying why I should be afraid. Andor does an amazing job of saying, hey, this is the Empire, and they're trash, and they suck, and they are awful. You're like, damn, okay, that's true. But then they'll spin it around and be like, hey, the rebels, they're kind of bad, and, like, we're willing to make sacrifices for the greater good. That's like, that's not that good either, right? It finally, and that's what I liked about Andor, it finally just did something where, like, where it wasn't so black and white. This team's the good team, and this team is the bad team. And in the thing, it's a war, right? Like in Star Wars, it was just like, we're the good guys, right? And in war, those lines get blurred, and that's what I liked about Andor. But anyways, going back to Ahsoka, there was like, oh, right, and then, like, I remember Simmons was like, why are you watching a show called Ahsoka if you didn't? I'm like, I don't know, like, I don't have to, like, why can't they just make the show stand on its own? Why can't they just do hey, episode 1 is all about a live action of what happened, to at least get me to know, damn, okay, this is what's going on. Because right now, Thrawn is supposed to be this insanely masterful tactician. Well, he got sent to another universe, and he's not smart enough to get back, right? I mean, I guess he's not smart enough to get back on his own or to take over that universe and come over, right? He was just literally stuck in this other universe, spoilers, and he just needed help to get back, right? I mean, I think it would have been cooler if like he's in this other universe and yeah, he's taking it over. This is, oh yeah, but you know what? I'm not done. I'm not finished. I'm coming and bringing everyone to this universe, as opposed to like I'm stuck and you know someone's gonna find me. And yeah, there are some cool concepts, but I guess my problem is just the show just had. I say the same thing so many times. I'm sorry, Chad. It's my ADHD or whatever, but like some of the other shows just did good on standing on its own, where especially because I think this relies too much on the extended universe. And when the show like Rebels, to me, that just looked like more Clone Wars, but even more kiddie. It was a little tougher for me to get in, and you know, and I'm sorry, but and yeah, and like it literally felt like I said before, it literally made me feel like I've never watched Star Wars, because at the end there's like these big statues and there's this big like dun 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 like. And I'm like, you know, it felt like if I was watching a Marvel movie and I've never read any of the comics, and then, you know, some character comes in and the crowd cheers and I have no idea because I just watched the movies, right? And that's what it felt like watching this show. It felt like I've never, you know, like let's say, you know, like when Shuma Gorath comes out, right? It was not technically Shuma Gorath, but like Shuma Gorath, some comic book was like, yo, that's crazy, Shuma Gorath. But if you've never read the comics or played Marvel's Capcom 2, you're like, oh, it's just some kind of monster, you know? That's what it felt like. I'm like, it made like, I guess one of that Jedi, his plan was to go to that planet the whole time because there was these statues and he didn't really care about the whole thing. He just wanted to get to that. And I'm like, I didn't know what was going on because I didn't want to watch all the shows. So it really felt like this was not for me, or not meant for people who have not seen all the previous shows. And that's what it felt like. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess, you know, I have to watch all this other stuff to really understand. And I think there's a lot more Star Wars fans like me that probably didn't watch all that stuff. You know, it's like, there's okay. You could be different levels of fans, right? You could be different levels of fans. There's no, well, I've watched every single thing and read every book, so I am the best Star Wars fan in the world. No, right? You can be whatever. But, yeah, I think that was one of my just biggest pet peeves. Is just it was Star Wars Rebels season 5, and I guess I wish I would have known that. But it did have a lot of great stuff. I loved those 2 Jedi. I wanted to know more. Yeah, like we'll see. And here's what I will say. I think what it leads to is a far more interesting movie trilogy than what we got with the newer trilogy, right? The sequel trilogy. I think what they are building up to with this new threat and cool witches and you know, magic and stuff, I think that's pretty cool. I think that leads to a pretty dang cool which could be a new sequel trilogy. Like if the Star Wars trilogy, the new one, would be about Thrawn and, you know, but then it would like, then again, it would just be like more Luke, and like, of course we want to see more Luke. I think, okay, that was dumb of me. Especially with like the Star Wars of being about this family. At least this trilogy could have been like ended the Luke saga, right? I'm just talking about other stuff, but like, yeah, it would, because like also I'm kind of tired of seeing this thing, right? I want to give me some Knights of the Old Republic, give me something different. But I think it would have been like, I think this is what people would have wanted to see, like Jedi Master Luke, right? We didn't really get to see that, and it was more about a new generation instead of closing up the previous generation, right, and then passing it on. And I think that's the problem with the Disney things. And now we're just talking about here or there, right? But I think that, right, I think that's what we wanted, right? This sequel trilogy could have been about you know, seeing Jedi Master Luke, seeing all this kind of stuff, and seeing a new generation in there and passing it on, as opposed to like, yeah, Luke is a grumpy man and that's it, and the second one he'll do really nothing, and then he'll do something at the end and he'll die, and it's just like, damn, like, can we get Luke, you know? And then that's what the Mandalorian gave us. Oh, but if I had to rate Andor top, Andor is just Star Wars show. Andor top Star Wars show. I'd go the Mandalorian, then I would go I'd probably go Ahsoka. Yeah, Andor, Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, and then Book of Boba Fett. Book of Boba Fett was just, you know, but at the end of the day, it's like we get more Star Wars, right? Some of it good, some of it be crap, right? But at the end of the day, it's just kind of cool to get more stories. Some of them, you know, like I said, some of them can be rough, but yeah. But anyways, that's been it. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys. Let me know what you guys think, because I'm gonna talk to you guys, for the fans that have seen all of Rebels and seen, you know, all of Clone Wars, right? I'm pretty sure this was like, yo, this was awesome. But are there fans like me that just try to watch those shows and be like, nah, right? I mean, I think there's different levels, bro. Like, what level of Star Wars fans? Let me know in the comments. Let's get this conversation going. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys. Have a good one, and peace out.